What's up, guys? How we doing? That was a wild day at High Point, and man, Deegan established himself as the guy. Make no bones about it. There's no problems with him and Yamaha. They love each other again, and boy, Hymas, not only did he get his ass handed to him, something much worse might have happened. I got kind of an update on his knee, and I'm going to let you know what that means. So MX Sports has a history of messing with privateers and racers. Now they're messing with fans too, and it's absolutely out of control, disgusting. I can't believe what they're doing to this sport, and we just let them. And that's the problem, is people are afraid to speak up. If you haven't tried Nano-Xtreme, you are missing out. You are having unnecessary pain if you're not using Nano-Xtreme. Head over to Nano-Xtreme, use code COOKSY and get free shipping. If you need to stay hydrated, head over to Coach Rob's Complete Racing Solutions and get yourself some energy fuel. This stuff will keep you hydrated out in that heat. It is such a good recovery drink. Head over to Complete Racing Solutions and get your energy fuel. Precision Transport. This is the best shipping company ever. Family owned, reasonable pricing. Head over to pretransport.com and let them get you squared away.
You need people like me so you can point your fucking fingers and say, that's the bad guy.
So coming into this weekend, we were all looking at the Hayden Deegan, Chance Hymas rivalry because, it looked like a legit rivalry after Chance Hymas hole shot. I mean, he had perfect days in Colorado. Both hole shots, fast qualifying, led every lap. That's as good as your day can get. But Hayden Deegan has a way. Anytime any of these guys get chippy with him, they want to chirp back, they want to pretend like, we got him covered. He comes back and just puts them in their place every single time. He owns these kids. He is so mentally strong. He just puts them back. They can get a little bit of confidence, and he lets them have a little bit, and then he smacks it back down. He is the guy in the 250 class, make no bones about it. And I know it was early, but I really do think Hayden Deegan had a goal of going undefeated. And when that was taken away from him, he's like, I'm sure he was pissed in Colorado, but now it offers an amount of freedom. He can go out there and race. He doesn't have to win every single moto. It's about winning races, gaining points, and clinching his second championship. If I were the team, what I would do is I'd say, hey, Hayden, if you can clinch this thing early, we're going to let you ride the 450 for the last round or two. Guys used to do this all the time. It was a great way to, dip your toe into the new class that you're going to be racing next year with zero expectations, because nobody expects much. If you've got 1 week of riding on a 450, nobody expects you to go out there and beat Jet and Eli, but it's a great way to just have some fun, take some pressure off, and get an idea what it's going to be like on that 450 class. And honestly, it's just really fun for the fans. We don't want to see them go out there at the last round and just go 1-1 by a mile. We would much rather see a preview of what we're going to see in the future against him, Jet, Eli. That would be so much more fun. And I think Hayden would want to do that too. So I hope they consider that. I don't know if they will, but I really hope they consider that, because I think he's going to clinch this thing probably 2 rounds early. And what a difference a week makes in the team and how they're getting along. Leaving Colorado, everybody was pissed. They're arguing. Hayden's riding the bike too hard. The bike's a piece of crap. You go out and you go 1-1 and lead every lap. They're all smiles, hugging. Life is good again at Star Yamaha. There are no issues. It's crazy how going 1-1 fixes everything. There was a lot made last week of Hymas going perfect, leading every single lap. Deegan's like, hold my beer, watch this. I can do the same thing. Literally went out there and he didn't hole shot, but he fought really quick. I mean, I've never seen him burn through the pack like that. I really think he just wanted to have that score sheet that says 1-1-1 all the way down. So he'd be like, oh, yeah, you did it last week? I did it this week, Hymas. Then Deegan can be like, oh, Hymas, yeah, it was so special. I can do it anytime I want. I mean, that is demoralizing to your competition, that you have your career day and Hayden Deegan goes, oh, yeah, well, I could do that too, and just does it the next weekend. But don't think for 1 second that Hayden Deegan doesn't understand how naturally talented and how fast and what a legit competitor Chance Hymas is. In the press conference, he's like, hey, when I saw Hymas was in second, I know he can ride. I had to go. As far as getting Deegan to give compliments to his competitors, that's about as close as you're going to get, saying, oh, he can ride. But Deegan did what he went there to do and just establish himself as the guy and extend his point lead. And it's disastrous what happened to Chance Hymas. He's been a pro for 3 years. This is his 3rd ACL tear, and I'm assuming it's an ACL. When you get a guy like Chance Hymas who's had 2 ACL injuries, you know what it feels like, and you could see the way they were hugging him and talking. I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL. I'm not a doctor, I haven't seen the MRI, but I'm reading their reactions. And based on their reactions, that's a season-ending injury. It looked really bad. And this is tough because as much talent as he's shown, that's 3 pro seasons, 3 ACLs. How could a team or factory invest in a guy who can't make it through the season without tearing his ACL? He's got 1 more year left on his Honda deal because Lucas Myrtle got him a great deal with Honda. And then after that, it's going to get tricky. So if he comes back next year, heals up that ACL, and can make it through next year without tearing a 4th ACL, and he wins some races and shows some talent, yeah, he'll be signable, but nobody's going to be looking to give him any more than 1 or 2 years. And they're going to be very incentive-driven contracts. Nobody's going to fork out money knowing that he's probably going to tear his ACL again at some point. And when you tear your ACL that many times, it rips the cartilage away. He's so young, but he's for sure going to have knee problems, probably have to have knee replacement at a very young age. So as bad as this sucks and as unfair as it is, this hurts his earning potential so much. This hurts. Now, if he went out and hurt his shoulder or his wrist, it would not be nearly as bad as tearing the ACL. That is the one thing that he's done 3 times in a row. Now we got a weak link. We don't even know if his knees can handle pro motocross. Is this it for him? Because if he comes back and does it again, I don't know how you'd ever come back from that. 4 ACLs in 4 seasons. I mean, at that point, I don't know if he's just built for the sport. And it's rough, man. It really does suck because the guy can ride. He's working so hard. And I'm not a big fan of his personality. But man, as a human being, I can't help but feel sorry for him. And like, you don't want that to happen to anyone. I mean, it just sucks. You see him there. And I know how hard they work. Even though he's kind of a knucklehead and I don't really like him, you have to respect the effort and putting everything into this sport to go out there and be a top guy. That's something special. And to have it ripped for the 3rd straight season, that's tough, man. That really is. And for that, I feel bad. Even though I think he's a knucklehead, I wouldn't want that on my worst enemy. That's tough, man. I would rather he go out there and just get beat by Hayden Deegan. Nobody wants to see it end this way. I'm sure Hayden Deegan doesn't even want it to end this way. You want to beat your competitors. You don't want them injured. That's just not something that we do in this sport, and it's not something we like. So sending my best, hoping, crossing my fingers that it's not an ACL and it's just a stinger. But from the looks on those faces in that pits and the way he was walking, I'm not so sure. I'm pretty sure it's an ACL. Tom Vial had a good day. He got up there, got 2nd overall, and somebody in the press conference asked him, yeah, is this track like Europe? He's like, I don't know why you guys say that. There's no track in Europe that's just like this. He's like, I thought of them all. It doesn't seem like any of those.
I have no idea which track in Europe is same as here. Like, I don't know why everyone is saying that, because we don't have any track like this type. I mean, it's really wild.
But that was a decent question. It got a reaction out of Tom Vial, and he gave us a legit answer, and he had to think a little bit. Some of these other guys and their questions, Michael Antonovich, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Within this question, you asked Eli a question, Jet a question, you elaborated on your question, you followed up on your question, and the guys don't even know who you're asking the question to.
Michael Antonovich with SWAT model, or with core setting, sorry. This will be for, that's been coming for a while, I know. This will be for Jet and then for Eli both, because you guys had such different starts to your second moto, and then as the rain comes down and it gets so heavy, when you go out for the sight lap and it's clear, but it's straight sheets of rain and you see it gets so wet and so slick, and you know how hard packed this is here. Jet, for you, how do you manage coming through the pack knowing I have to make these moves now while not getting myself into a precarious position? And then for you, Eli, how do you want to go all out without putting yourself at jeopardy to make a mistake when it is as slick as it is?
And it is such a lazy question to say, take me through your first couple laps. What? What are you talking about? How about you do some research, come in there with a couple questions, Antonovich, ask specific questions to provoke a response from the rider. Don't tell me a story about your day and what you think. Media members in that press conference, understand these riders are tired. They don't want to be there. Be prepared to ask them a question that provokes an answer that you want to know, that they want to talk about. That's it. It's pretty easy, but it is, well, I shouldn't say it's easy. It's kind of stressful in there, and you don't know what to ask. You don't know if somebody right in front of you is going to ask your questions. Show up prepared with multiple questions and listen to the guys when they talk. Often, I would throw my questions out the window after I heard a guy speak on his opening question because it led to something else that I wanted to ask. And you newbies in that press room, if you're not sure what you should ask, just lean over and ask Jason Wygant. He is really cool about that stuff. He's always willing to help. He'll help you phrase your question or tell you don't ask that question. He's really good about that. He's not like Mattress or Antonovich or any of these other guys that want you to get in there and fail. He'll genuinely help you. So if you need some help, just ask Weege. And whenever I was given a press pass, I made sure to attend the press conference. I feel like that's a handshake deal between the promoters and the media. They give you a pass, they give you access to the event, and you are then kind of obligated to go to their press conference for their YouTube channel and ask your questions. Some of these guys are incredibly selfish and they just run off in the pits and do their own thing. You got a free pass to go. At least do the one thing that they want you to do. That's your one job, is they ask you to be at the press conferences to ask questions, and they wonder why no riders go over there. They don't go over there because they know your knucklehead's going to be running through the pits, and they don't have to. Now, if all the press went to the tent, if riders wanted to get interviewed, they would come over there. But idiots like Mattress go and ruin it for everybody, but he's just trying to get his exclusive, and he doesn't want to break. It's all about him. It's not about the sport. It's not about getting the proper information out there. It's him controlling his own access, because he's on the inside, part of that crew with MX Sports and Racer X, that control, that kick people out that they don't like, threatening to have Johnny Hopper's media pass pulled after last week. Mathis did that in a direct message. It's disgusting. That gives you an idea of the power he thinks he has and might have. But Tom Vial looks like he's building confidence. He's looking better. And even though this is a non-European track, he still looked pretty good. I think when they say European, they just mean it's more, I think when you get hills, like tracks that are on a hill requiring a lot of balance, I think that's more MXGP style. But clearly, according to Tom, this is nothing like anything in Europe. Check out Ride Strapped, goggles, glasses, shirts, get your Red Pill shirt. Just a cool company. Head over to ridestrap.com. Alias MX gear. The 2026 is dropping soon. As soon as it's out there, I'll let you know. Head over to Alias MX and check out the gear. So Joe Shimoda's had a bad couple rounds, but he's still in second in the points, and he rode really good. And with Hymas being out now, I still think Joe's the second best guy. I don't know if he has what it takes to get up there and battle with Hayden Deegan. He'll have moments where he's going to battle close, and he might get a win if Hayden makes any mistakes. But Joe has been rock solid. He's just got to clean up those small errors. He just missed the podium, but he rode really good in High Point. And how about Jalek Swoll? I couldn't be happier to see this guy out there. He's one of my favorites. Every once in a while, I get a rider or two, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm a little bit biased. I like Jalek Swoll, and I'm glad to see him coming back from that torn Achilles tendon. Prior to the Supercross season, it was open knowledge that he was by far the best Triumph rider out there. He was thinking wins and championship. He really wanted to shock the world, and then he had that injury. But if you want to know how good he was heading into the season, he was much better than Jordan Smith, who won a race and got on the podium multiple times. That's how good Jalek was heading into the season, so it's just a shame that he got hurt. But only being on the bike for 2.5 weeks to go out there and run top 10 like he did, oh, I can't wait. I want to see Jalek race himself into shape. And then that's what's cool about the SMX, the 3 rounds at the end, is they do get to reset. Maybe he can do something in that. Maybe he can get up on the podium for the SMX series. That would mean a lot to him. That's a big deal for Triumph. So keep your eye on Jalek Swoll as he builds this summer. And Garrett Marchbanks, riding fast, but he's starting in 15th. How do you start in 15th and expect to be on the podium every week? You just can't. That 250 class is too competitive. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but he's a big dude. Speaking of big dudes, Drew Adams is giant. He's going to have to leave the 250 class. There's no chance. I saw him on the line standing next to Jet Lawrence. He's a monster. He's a giant kid, and I just don't see him being able to be competitive in that 250 class. He's going to have to take the Benny Bloss, Weston Pike route of guys who just happen to be too big. He's not fat or anything. He's just a big guy. And when you're that large, you can't give up 50 pounds to these other guys in that 250 class and expect to be a front runner. So you go to the 450 class and build and see what you can do in that. He's just going to have to be a career 450 guy, in my opinion. And man, oh man, did MX Sports treat the fans and privateers bad at High Point. I've never seen this many people this mad after jacking up fees, blocking prime viewing spots from fans who paid large chunks of money to get there, canceling amateur races on Sunday without letting people know. And I saw a lot of people asking for refunds. Fun fact for you guys, the name of Davey Coombs' boat, no refunds. So good luck getting your refunds. I don't know if you'll get them or not, but his boat says no refunds. That's the name of it. So good luck on that one. And these idiots at MX Sports need to figure out an actual way to let privateers know when they're going to be allowed to race an event. At any moment, they could just tell you, you're not eligible and put Jordan Jarvis in there. Now, I'm glad Jordan Jarvis got the race. She's qualified for nationals. She's very legit. But if there's guys who've already signed up and raced the first couple of rounds, you don't bump them to put her in there. If she wasn't planning on racing, she wasn't planning on racing. If you have a certain amount of spots and they're full, that's it. But they consistently take these guys who plan their summers, spend their money, drive 2 days to get to these events and say, oh, yeah, sorry, we're full. And privateers, stop being such little bitches. I had a sponsor of a privateer rider show me the email correspondence and the way that MX Sports completely screwed them over and was rude to them. And he wanted to go public with it and just show people the truth of how they're treated, which it's the truth, right? If that's the way they were treated, what's wrong with talking about it? But this rider and his father were so terrified of the MX Sports Mafia that they said, no, we can't do that. The sponsor was so pissed. He literally was like, listen, I can't sponsor spineless people. If you're going to not talk about what happened and not call out injustices, I can't be a part of your program. So they literally bailed on a sponsor because they're that scared of the MX Sports Mafia. True story. So, hey, privateers, if you do want to get treated better, stop being little bitches and talk about what happened. Tell us what they're doing. The one thing they fear is people finding out what jerks they are. Public opinion matters more to MX Sports than anything else. They get so mad when they get called out for their bad behavior that then they retaliate. But if enough people speak out, they won't be able to retaliate and they'll just have to fix their bad behavior. And Ryder that has no spine and his dad who's afraid to even just say what happened, yeah, well, good luck to you because your sponsor ditched you and MX Sports isn't going to come to your rescue. They're going to tell you to pound sand. And in a few years, you'll be like, oh, I should have just said what was up. Do it now when it matters. Stop being little bitches. We lost a Northern California legend, announcer Gary Plaget, the Northern California announcer that everybody loves. Unfortunately, we lost him this week. I just want to pay tribute to him. You know what? It was a pleasure to have him as a part of our community for as long as we did. He will be missed. So, Gary Plaget, thank you for everything. You'll be missed, my friend. Thank you, members. In December, I'm giving away the new Power Sports XQi3 motorcycle. And then this month, somebody's going to get an energy fuel pack from Coach Rob. So thank you, guys. Here's your member of the day.